All right, team. Good morning, everyone. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia. I'm the founder and CEO of Guard Capital. You are now on the Guard Capital YouTube channel. We do this every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. September 5th, 2024 is the date. Happy Thursday. Let's go ahead and get started with the market. Dow futures are up 7 points this morning. Nasdaq's down about 66 points. S&P is Flatsville, down 0.10. Russell's up 0.20 currently, so that's leading the field today. Bond yields keep falling down, 3.731%. The dollar's down again, 101.14, and the VIX is down 1.7%. We just had a ton of data come in today with regarding employment claims, so we'll go over that here in a second. Crude oil is up today, 0.78%, 69.74. $1.95. We're sub $2 on gasoline futures. So expect gasoline prices to continue to fall as the summer driving season is over, unless we get some kind of change in OPEC or some really bad Middle Eastern headlines. Okay, obviously we're not hoping for that, but that's where we are in terms of the energy market, and that's going to be a little bit of a pull on the stock market, at least on the value side. So just keep a note of that. Gold futures down, they're up 0.83% today. Silver is up 2%. Keep going down here. Dollar yen continues to fall, 66 pips. The Nikkei was really, really volatile yesterday. It opened down 3%, then went green, 143.06. Bitcoin is down 2.6%, even with the dollar being down. This could be that seasonality we talked about with September being bad for Bitcoin, but it does get better towards November and the end of the year. 2401 for Ethereum, 2.62%. Really quick, let's go and take a look at Bitcoin. If those who are looking for maybe a buy the dip opportunity or so, but again, September is weak. We are now below the 200-day, 50,000 is our target. I think that would be the level to look for in terms of buying the dip on Bitcoin that gets you to the Q4 seasonality. We could play it short from here. I would use the 200-day moving average, 57,551 or so. That would probably be the resistance for now, a good one. And you can kind of use the proxies here. So let's say Mara. I have an alert below 1370 if that breaks. Coinbase, I believe I talked about that yesterday. We're waiting for 160.62 to break, and then we got an air pocket here to 125. That should line up to 50K Bitcoin on the future side anyways. Riot, I haven't seen in a while. Yeah, Riot's pulling back now. Let's see. Yeah, you're below, Death Cross, the whole nine. So possibly $6 on Riot. That's kind of another Bitcoin proxy that might be cheaper, but just keep in mind the spreads. BITO, Bitcoin ETF. Did we fill that gap as of yet? Possibly, right around 16. So let's keep an eye if we can break below 17. Let's say 1694. I would do the 16 puts on BITO, if not right around 15 or so. So 15, 17 is one more gap there. But yes, we still expect Bitcoin to pull back in this ugly seasonality that is September. What I had in front of my screen was Tesla. We talked about that yesterday. We filled the trade on that. It is in the money now. We have the 225 calls. I put a note out there for our members to close out in the morning. The last thing we want is a reversal. Call me with some PTSD. Obviously, it's just been an absolute mess in terms of reversals. Just crushes my heart to see. So again, it's good to see Tesla at least in the money. Yesterday was a little bit of a panic for me personally because I'm like, oh no, we were up 25% on the trade and then we pulled back. And I'm like, no, please don't, because it's for Friday expiry. But that is actually in our favor now because since it's tomorrow expiry, it is up $6 pre-market. We're going to get some nice premium juice. Should be triple digits. Thank you, God, that we're going to get that because that makes me very happy. So great trade options team. There's more upside for it. 222.30. I marked that price in green. That is your 50-day moving average. We are now above it. If we open at current levels, again, let's just be thankful that it's there. In terms of resistance, we have a right around 227.50 to 228 or so. If we can break that, then we got the gap fill here at 245. Remember, Tesla is above this downward trend line. And now we're above the 50. That's great news. And don't forget, you have a golden cross. Tesla, keep an eye on it. Even doing better than the Nasdaq. Nasdaq's down and Tesla's up very, very nicely. All right, that's what I got. Let's see the questions. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. NVIDIA. Shoot, NVIDIA. All right, got that inverse hammer formation on daily. Not ideal, that's for sure. Possible, looking at 97.44 as support. Let's see the hourly. We're right below now. We're down about 60 cents, 70 cents or so. So not exactly a meltdown at this point, but that's going to be dependent. Nvidia and Nasdaq move in tandem, and it's still holding up above 876. We kind of broke below that slightly this morning, but we bounced off that levels of support that we had, pretty much the lows of the month, meaning September. Let's see the headlines here. Okay. All right, here's the economic data. ADP non-farm payrolls were a big miss. That came out to 99,000 versus the 144,000 estimate. Jobless claims were better than expected, meaning lower than expected. That was a beat, 227K versus 231 expected. Non-farm productivity quarter over quarter is up 2.5%. The beat's 2.3%. Unit labor costs, 0.4% versus 0.9% quarter over quarter. That's a miss. And continuing job claims is a beat as well. But what stood out was the ADP number. That caused the initial drop this morning. We had about 100 points down on NASDAQ, and then it bounced with the jobless claims. It's just back and forth at this point. And really, that's kind of the issue here is that really, other than Tuesday, when we got that big flush the whole day, yesterday we had a pop and then a fade. So now we're looking at, okay, what is next? And at least there is some glimmer of green out there. And again, we're in it. That's Tesla at this point. NVIDIA just has to get above 106 as soon as possible. That just has to happen. The question remains with the data that we have today, can we get some kind of bids out there ahead of a major event tomorrow, non-farm payroll report? I know there's a lot of jobs numbers out there, but this one's the big one. That's tomorrow at 8:30. So we do have a PMI, final services PMI, at 9:45, and an ISM services PMI at 10 a.m. So that might move Nvidia, that might move markets. That just really depends. I mean, after that ADP number, that looked bad. We pulled back. Tesla filled its hourly gap here at 219, just pulled back and then it bounced. Kind of gave me a mini heart attack there. Excuse me. So in terms of Nvidia, we're gonna have to just wait and see if we can get this bounce. But I'm trying to recapture 111.93. That's what I'm looking for. It is for next week. My cost, but at this moment, it's just going to be dependent if we get some good news. We got one with the unemployment claims because Nvidia was a lot lower this morning. In terms of SPY, very similar, obviously. So, I mean, I was up 25%, 22% on SPY yesterday, right here, and then it just faded. So we're just right back at support. Let's see if some news comes in and helps us out. What do you think Tesla can realistically hit today? Realistically, 228.22 or 228 or so. That's the wick high from about 3 Tuesdays ago. IWM was fired tomorrow. That's going to be based on NFP. But that big drop just killed us. It's just a big retest that we had from the 20th of August, unfortunately. We had the bull flag, popped higher, but then it just faded with that action that we had on Tuesday where everything was sold out in a sense of tech and growth and small caps. Just a shame. But hey, if NFP comes in very strong, who knows what happens tomorrow? I've been here before with a trade last year. It was Google. I was down 85% on a trade on a Thursday, broke support ahead of NFP. It flipped to green and it was up nearly 110% on that NFP report. It happens. I know. Don't want to be holding too long, but also want to sell too soon. Yeah, I totally get it. I think the best bet with this kind of market, as we've seen, best to just take your money. Let the runner do its job if you want. You can leave one contract. The thing that just scares me is the fact that it's expiring tomorrow. So we're just happy to get it now because tomorrow's NFP is a crapshoot. We don't know what's going to happen. And even if we knew the number, we can't predict the reaction. The market is very, very sensitive and very fickle at this point. And that's just in the middle of an election season where we don't know what the hell is going to happen as of yet. So I think that's where the market is kind of pricing in just jittery at the moment. And it's not as simple as just sell everything. As you can see, we're bouncing yesterday and we're bouncing a little bit today. So it's just kind of, like I said on the podcast, frustration station. And we've been here before many times, but it sucks to be in, but it just happens. And over time, things do improve. It's not like we're going to tank to zero or anything like that. It's just going to make you want to pull your hair out. Trading isn't always glamorous, and this is the times that it isn't. It just really isn't. But we'll, play what we got in front of us and go from there. So I hope Tesla stays above in the money, that's for sure. But it looks like it will, and that'll give us a nice trade for the week, and hopefully triple digits. So we should be above like a $5.20 bid on those contracts at 225s. I think we got in at what, 255 or so. That sounds about right. So we'll see what we get this morning. Let's just stay in the money. As long as you stay above 225, the demand's going to pour in for those contracts. So think of it having a very hot sneaker and you're standing in front of a Foot Locker with like this limited edition Jordan. Everyone's going to come up to you asking for those contracts or those sneakers. PayPal. PayPal resurrected from the dead, but still a little more to go. It did fill the gap, at least that. There's this trend line that we had, and then when that thing sliced in May, could have been just dead there, but it did recapture it. You got to get above 76.55. That's really the key. The good news on PayPal, it is possibly a good turnaround story, at least in the stock, is you're having a golden cross right now. You have the 50-day above the 200-day. That's a really great sign. Just like Tesla with their golden cross, we expect higher at least, but if we can break above 76.55, that's the peak from last June. And there's a nice gap to fill at 84. So let's wait on that first. Why we ain't pumping with data supporting 50 rate cuts? It's a really great question. It is based on perception and it's all based on demand. Maybe, just maybe, and that's kind of what I'm thinking, is that the market is just jittery of the fact that we have another jobs number tomorrow. We've had 4 straight days, or we're going to have 4 straight days of pure data coming out regarding jobs, which is directly correlated to these interest rates cuts that we're going to get. We just don't know how much. So it's really just a guessing game out there between algos at this point. And then throw in it's a short week. Maybe next week with it's a full week, we can actually see some momentum. But other than Tuesday's open where we just had a straight down move, it's been chop. And even with good news, or good news being bad news, or bad news being good news, depending on how you see it, it's just been absolutely wacky. So we'll see what we get with that number tomorrow. That's going to be key. All right, we'll leave it there. Have a great rest of your morning. Today is the opening day of the NFL season. Chiefs and Ravens should be a good one. So I can't wait to watch that game. Have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you guys in the podcast later today. Cheers.